before the heavens were fully formed, before Lucifer fell, before Michael raised his sword in the name of God. There was one being, an angel, not born like the others, not created like the cherubim or seraphim, but forged in fire, knowledge, and something far more terrifying, pure authority. This being was not simply a messenger, not merely a servant of God. He was the only one who sat beside the throne, and when he sat, all of heaven stood still. They call him the angel of the presence, the voice behind the veil, the one even angels fear to name. His name is Metatron, and you were never meant to know him, because Metatron isn't just terrifying because of what he does. He's terrifying because of what he represents. He is the system, the divine processor, the executor of law. Michael, commander of heaven's armies, bows before him. Lucifer, the proudest, brightest, most defiant of angels, fled from him. Because Metatron is not governed by emotion, not driven by rebellion or mercy. He is judgment, unfeeling, unrelenting, inescapable. But Metatron didn't start as an angel. He wasn't created in the heavens. He was born. His human name was Enoch, a righteous man, a scribe, a prophet. A descendant of Adam, he never died. The Bible tells us that Enoch walked with God, and then was no more. But what really happened is far darker, far stranger, and so disturbing, it was hidden for centuries. The ancient book of Enoch, banned from the canon, removed from most Bibles, reveals the truth. Enoch was taken by the angels, up into the highest heavens, and transformed into something that had never existed before. Not man, not angel, but something in between and above. As he rose through the heavenly realms, the angels were horrified. They cried out, "What is this creature among us?" They had never seen a mortal exalted so high. And when he reached the seventh heaven, the highest plane of divine reality, Enoch was not welcomed. He was dismembered, burned, his flesh replaced by flame, his voice replaced by thunder, his name erased and rewritten. From that moment forward, he was Metatron. But this transformation wasn't symbolic. It was surgical, brutal, divine. He was given 72 wings, 6 per limb, 365,000 eyes, 1 for each day of creation, and a throne of his own, placed beside God himself. And then, something even more shocking, he was given the name. Not just a name, but the name of God. In Jewish mysticism, this is the unspeakable tetragrammaton. YHWH, the name no one is allowed to utter. The name that holds all power, all existence, all reality. Metatron was called the lesser YHWH. No other angel, not even Michael, has ever held that title. This wasn't honor. This was danger. Because even the other angels began to worship him. They bowed, they prayed, until God struck them down and warned Metatron as not to be worshipped. He is a reflection, not the source. But by then, the damage was done. Metatron had become the divine interface, the angel through whom all divine command must pass. He wasn't just a scribe. He was the executor of heaven's will. When God speaks, Metatron records. When judgment is passed, Metatron enforces. When souls are weighed, it is Metatron who writes the name in the book of life, or burns it out forever. Lucifer understood this. In the early days of heaven, before the rebellion, before the fall, Lucifer was the morning star, radiant and adored. But when he saw Metatron seated beside the throne, seated, not standing, he knew there was no way to rise higher. Lucifer's pride shattered, and in that moment of divine jealousy, the seeds of rebellion were born. But what truly broke him was not God's throne. It was Metatron's presence beside it. Lucifer tried to usurp authority, but Metatron had already become the embodiment of that authority, not with a sword, not with fire, but with silence. The silence of pure dominion. It is said that Lucifer didn't fear God. He feared Metatron, because Metatron had no weakness, no pride, no lust, no ambition, just absolute obedience. So when the war in heaven began, Michael led the charge. But it was Metatron who documented every rebellion, sealed every traitor's fate, and delivered the divine verdict. He didn't fight in the war, he ended it, not by force, but by finality. The angels who fell, the gates that were closed, the sentence that was passed, all were written by Metatron's hand. He is the recorder of eternity, the angel of the veil, the link between infinite holiness and finite creation. But his power doesn't stop in heaven, Because the ancient texts tell us that Metatron walks among us. Disguised, hidden, watching. He doesn't interfere, not directly. But when events shift in ways too perfect, too precisely, when destiny seems calculated, when divine intervention feels like cold algorithm, that's Metatron. It is said he guides history not like a hero, but like a clockmaker. Empires rise, empires fall, not by chaos, but by design. He was there at the Tower of Babel. He was present during the Exodus. He appeared in the form of a mysterious being to Abraham, to Moses, even to Jesus, always watching, always recording, never speaking unless commanded. And when he speaks, reality changes. The Zohar, one of the most sacred mystical texts, warns of the day when Metatron will read the final scroll, when he opens the book of names and every soul is judged. Not by passion, not by mercy, but by law. No appeal, no argument, only sentence. You may have never heard of him, but he knows everything about you, your thoughts, your secrets, your sins. Because even now, Metatron is writing, not with ink, but with truth. And when the final seal is broken, it will not be a trumpet or a horseman who speaks your fate. It will be the cold, perfect voice of the angel who terrifies angels, the one Michael obeys, the one Lucifer fears, the one who never blinks. Metatron. And now you know. But knowledge comes with a price. Because once you're aware of him, you start to feel it. That sense of being watched. That pressure behind your decisions. That weight when you do what you shouldn't. He's not here to punish. He's not here to guide. He's just here to write. And the only question is, what is he writing about you? So if this truth shook you, if it opened your eyes to the angel they never told you about, then subscribe to this channel right now. Because there are forces far greater than demons, darker than hell, and older than time itself. And their stories are finally being told.